welcome to Luis Coig for our fourth Park Slope Windsor Terrace artist interview. And I'm very happy to have you here. I looked at your website and I noticed the picture you have is of you doing yoga. Is that a big part of your life?
No, I'm not doing yoga in that picture.
Oh, it's not yoga? Oh, my bad. Whoops. My bad. What, it looked like a yoga pose. What are you doing there? Just posing?
No, it's Tai Chi.
Oh, Tai Chi, my bad. Okay.
Yeah, I practice Tai Chi pretty regularly. The Tai Chi forms.
Good.
Yang style.
Okay, and I think that that shows up. Perhaps you could tell us how that relates to your work.
Yeah, okay. I do not think that relates to my work, but it is a good. I think it's an art in itself. Of course, Tai Chi is a martial art, and is you know, it keeps me centered and healthy.
Yeah. Well, good. All right, we'll start with a picture here of your studio. Yes. A little different from the other studios we've seen.
Yeah, this is my kitchen table because I don't have a studio. I had a studio for years in Manhattan on 37th Street between 5th and 6th Avenues, but that lasted maybe 10 years or a few more. And after that, I have been working at home in the different places that I've been living. So this is the kitchen table where I live now. And this is where I have created the work that I am going to talk about today. I'm not gonna give a talk about a retrospective type of approach. It's just gonna be some of the most recent work that I've done in recent years.
Good. Is that affected by the pandemic, or does it just happen to be what you've been working on?
No, the work that I'm going to show is pre-pandemic. I caught the virus when the pandemic started in March of 2020. I had a really hard time, but I survived it. And then I continued making some drawings for a couple of months. And after that, I haven't really made anything. So I am kind of waiting to see if my creative impulse will get activated.
Yeah.
Right now. But I'm going to show what I did before the pandemic.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a series. I'm going to show two series of drawings. And this is the first one. These drawings are in square format, 7 by 7 inches. They're small. And I just happen to have a small sketchbook. I thought I would try square for a change. And I found that interesting is you just have to adjust because it's not the same as working with different sizes of rectangles. And what I am aiming to show here is, well, a lot of my work is inspired by nature. Is for my whole life, it has been one of the main sources of inspiration for me. So I do not copy nature. I more observe it, register it, and then I like to say that I work from memory. So these are landscapes, but they are not a memory of a particular place. And I also wouldn't say that they are mental landscapes. I am more speaking about the elements of nature, the forces, the directions, and also working on it, trying to keep it on several levels at the same time. The cellular level, the microscopic level, and up to the tissues, the organism, the landscape, the planet. So, of course, I am not trying to pack all of that into one single drawing, but it becomes more apparent as you go through the series. And also, all of my work is titled, I'm not going to remember all the titles. The previous one was Alone is Peaceful. The next one, I am not remembering the title of this one. But again, working from memory, this is simply pencil on paper. And next, yeah, this has a one-word title that I am not remembering. If you ask me what I am trying to do, I am just simply trying to keep it mysterious, trying to keep it ambiguous, and not try to say anything very specific at all. Just how the world feels for me. That is essentially what I'm going for. I guess maybe the geometric shapes in this one can be interpreted as crystals, as minerals, for example. Next one. Again, this one works at the cellular level. Maybe you can see it as encased in a crystal, emanating different energies. Also, I try to technically achieve several different kinds of activities in the drawing, several kinds of markings and movements, so that just to keep it interesting on that level.
That particular sketch looks like everything is moving a lot. It's got a lot of motion going.
Yeah, some of them become very activated like that and acquire a lot of motion. Others are more static. My approach is just trying to survive the whiteness of the paper.
Trying to survive the whiteness?
Yes, because it is, for me, art, creating art is not very wonderful. It's not so much that I watched this movie about Van Gogh the other day, and he was saying a line like, "I paint to stop thinking," and for me it is the opposite. When I paint, I am thinking. All my thoughts pass before my mental eye, and I have to struggle with myself and my entire psychology, and then maybe at some point I find calm, but before I get there I have to really work for a while. So also the fact that you are just faced with nothingness and you have to fill it with something, and it's supposed to be meaningful. So it is something that, in a manner of speaking, you have to survive.
Interesting.
Next one.
Oops.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this one, maybe I scanned it a little blurry, but
it's sharp on the video here.
Okay. Same thing. I mean, sort of latent energy or something germinating, but at the same time, something that is trapped and encased, something that is containing a certain amount of energy. And really, I cannot say much more about my own work. I can't really explain it out, except I can speak about its sources, what goes into it, but then I don't know what comes out of it as a result. And when people read my work, everybody reads it differently, and I guess that's good. Everybody can figure it out on their own. Let's do another one. Aha. I mean, they tend to look surreal. I am not aiming for surrealism, and I am not aiming to create a dreamscape, but I guess they end up like that because I am working from memory, and because of, I guess, the psychological process that I go through. But I think it's more, I just lost the word. I think it's more of a, it's something that happens on its own without me really expressly trying to do that, you know.
That's wild. Okay.
Uh-huh. So I think this is probably the last one on this series. And I guess maybe we could go to the next one because that comes from a completely, yeah, again, uh,
Really draws you in. It's really amazing.
yeah, this one has a sort of a perspective that just, and a composition that, you know, is well, very well structured. I end up actually creating a good structure most of the time. I think that's uh, because of the square format, and working on the square has really helped me with that, with the composition.
Mhm.
Just because I don't know what it is. There are less options, but there are also more options. So okay, now this is a different series, and this is not inspired by nature, and it's not an approach where I just go to the paper with my own mind and see what I can extract out of it. Uh, my day work is I am an interpreter and a translator, right? And when I made these drawings a few years back, I was working as a freelancer. I mean, I've been an interpreter translator for 17 years now or so, and I was working over the phone a lot. So I was interpreting over the phone, and because you're not person to person, you have to take notes.
Right.
Because suppose you have to take down a phone number, an address, or other information that you're going to have to repeat very exactly to the other person, right? So I started taking notes on 8.5 by 11 paper that I would fold in half and cut it. And my notes, I would then obliterate them in different ways with different lines, different markings. And first it was looking like a mess, so I set up this rule of whatever I do on one side, I'll do on the other side, and I'll just have this rule of symmetry to try to make sense of it. So here's an example of one of the sketches. I don't know if you can,
Yeah, come a little closer.
a little closer.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see that this one in the sketch still has a lot of the information. It has, you see remnants of uh, letters and numbers
Yeah.
and whatever else I wrote. But with the rule of creating symmetry, I mean, it doesn't have to be exact symmetry. So from these, I have a whole bunch of sketches
Wow.
that I collected over maybe 6 months that I was working interpreting over the phone, right? So all that information is packed in here. Then from the sketch, I blew it up without a grid. I devised my own system of blowing it up to 15 by 20 drawings.
Mhm.
And when I blew it up, I sort of cleaned it out. I executed it very carefully and very cleanly. And it looks different because your average sketch still has all that energy, all that movement, and that expressiveness, right? But then the executed drawing is a little more static.
Luis, we're closing in on time, so let's move
Okay, let's
to
do the
the
next one.
next few.
Yeah. Now that you see, now that I explained where they come from, and so as a result, you get these structures that people tell me they look like different things. People see totems, they see machines. Let's do the next one. They
It's always symmetrical, though, I see.
it's always symmetrical because I had to decide on some kind of strategy to give it a structure. You can say robots in here. Let's do another one. Uh, uh, a couple of them turned out more figurative, like this one.
Uh-huh.
I think I called this one. Um, well, I forget. They all have titles also, but the titles are just for me a way of giving my drawings a classification. I don't I have so many drawings and I don't want to just call it, you know, that drawing that looks like a strange bird
Right.
going up. So I give them all a title. Next one. And yeah, people tell me they look like maybe buildings sometimes.
Mhm.
So the whole collection is, I have 25 of these, and they all have titles that they're interchangeable. You can take it from one and put it on the next one, and it will do
Mhm.
pretty much just as well.
Mhm.
This one is called Stupidity Grinder. I remember at least one of them, and I guess that's the
That's a
whole
lot of fun.
series. Yeah.
Well, Luis, thank you very much. It's a fabulous backstory to all the work, and it's really really interesting. And I hope you'll be in one of our exhibits soon.
Thank you.
So,
Let's see.
all right.